Good afternoon, my name is Sally Ann Wright, and I would like to thank you for inviting me to address this forum during Disability Awareness Week. My topic will be perception of disability in the community, but before I start I would like to acknowledge the following sources whom I used in preparing this address. In addition to these sources, as a parent of a person with a disability and also as a disability support worker of 10 years, I will be using my own experiences. Disability. What is the first thing you thought of when I said that word? If you thought wheelchair, you're not alone. Justin Healy posed the same question and received the same response. And when I was searching out graphics to use in this address, the majority of pictures I found, whether internet, clip art or in books, were of wheelchairs or people in wheelchairs. I tell you this to demonstrate that there are many misconceptions about disability and what people with disability are actually capable of. So, what is a disability? The Oxford Dictionary says a disability is something that disables or disqualifies a person, a physical injury or disease, etc. Disable means to deprive of some ability, to make unfit or useless. Dis, reversing the action or state indicated by the simple word. We have disadvantaged, suffering from unfavourable conditions. Dispossessed, deprived of a thing. Disconnect, break the connection. Disallow, refuse to allow or accept as valid. And dispensable or not essential. I would like to discount the theory that disability means inability and also disabuse you of any personal views that you may have about the lack of capabilities of people with a disability. I'm sure that each and every one of us has something that we are simply unable to do. People with disabilities may have many things that they're not able to do, however they are not unable to achieve, however slight that achievement may be in the eyes of the outside world. Stephen Hawking had a multitude of letters after his name, including CBE. His academic specialties were applied mathematics, theoretical physics and cosmology. Stephen Hawking had muscular dystrophy. He was born with this particularly crippling genetic disorder, and to see Stephen Hawking, one may think that he was incapable of very much at all. However, we know that's not true. I'm reasonably physically able, I'm reasonably intelligent. However, if Stephen Hawking speaks about theoretical cosmology and quantum gravity, I haven't got a clue what he's talking about. Many may also know the story of Annie's coming out. It was based on a 13-year-old girl with cerebral palsy who could not communicate, until somebody saw past that disability and saw that while her body was encumbered, her mind was not. Anne MacDonald, upon whom the story is based, went on to gain a university degree, become an author, lecturer and disability activist. Anne MacDonald, a valuable and valued member of society, died in October 2010. Helen Keller too, despite losing her vision and her hearing at the age of 19 months, went on to become an author, lecturer and a political activist and enhanced the lives of many other people. Now these are internationally well-known people, but I'd like you to know that there are many others who simply don't accept the word can't and who live rich and fulfilling lives. They may never achieve international fame for scientific, literary, artistic or philanthropic greatness, but within their own world, and certainly within mine, they have achieved a greatness that many able people would envy. Jane, a friend of mine, travelled the world and did things and saw things that I could only dream about. She had a very supportive parent to help her do this. But even in her everyday life, there was very little that stopped Jane. Jane had a particularly disfiguring disability which affected her mobility, her vision, and also left her with an intellectual impairment. But nothing stopped Jane. She loved life and she had many varied activities. She loved bowling and had a cabinet full of trophies to show her skill. and she also loved painting and won many awards at local shows. When Jane passed away recently, somebody who had not known her well said, "I did not know that Jane could do such things," and I think the paintings speak for themselves. According to Paul Spicker, some cultures and ethnic groups do not know the concept of disability, and to them it's just part of ordinary everyday life. And what a healthy and positive approach. On the other hand, Deborah Keenahan, in her article Social Justice for the Disabled in Australia, quotes Peter Singer, who argues that infanticide of disabled children should be allowed to satisfy the reasonable preferences of parents for a different kind of child. Deborah Keenahan has a doctorate in philosophy and is an academic in many universities. She also has a disability called achondroplasia dwarfism. Peter Singer has been described as one of the most influential philosophers of our time. Imagine what the world would have lost if the policies and philosophies of Peter Singer had been acted upon. Deinstitutionalisation. This began in the 1970s, and while it was a good concept, it was not terribly well thought out. People with disabilities were thrust into a community that was simply not ready to accept them as fully fledged members of society. And whereas before they were locked into institutionalisations and physically isolated, they were now locked out of mainstream society due to ignorance, fear, and lack of acceptance. I'd like to leave you with some statistics from the Bureau of Statistics. And this was in the Survey of Disability, Ageing and Carers 2009. In 2009, 4 million Australians, or 18.5% of the population, had a disability. 5.8% of the entire population had a profound or severe limitation in core activities, and a further 21% had long-term health conditions. These pie charts will show that only 60.3% of people in our community can say they do not have a disability or do not have a health condition. Of the 16% who have specific limitations with their disability, 39.2% of those have a mild limitation, and only 20% have a profound limitation. Community acceptance of the diversity of human ability and achievement can change the perception that the community has of disability. This begins with you and with me. Thank you.